Live and direct. It's Sway in the morning.
Right here on Shade 45.
All right, 13 minutes into the hour. We got a special guest joining us.
Yeah, that's Michael Arceneaux. He is a columnist at Ebony.com, and he also writes for Complex and a slew of other publications. And first up, we're going to be talking about Ludacris.
Luda.
If you remember, at the top of the year, this was around the same time that Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade, they had their love child controversy. And then what happened on Ludacris's end is some sperm ended up spilling into a woman that was not his fiance.
Okay, is that how you put it? The sperm ended up spilling? Like
hey, that's what happened. I just want to give you all a visual. So after that, he ended up having a love child. And stories came out that Luda did not have enough money to pay his baby mama for child support. And now it's being reported by TMZ that Luda is fighting for full custody of his 2-month-old daughter. And he's also coming at the baby mama to have her give him child support payments.
What do you think of that, Heather? We were just hanging out with Luda.
We were just hanging out with Luda All-Star Weekend in New Orleans. Sway, because I don't have children, I don't like to comment on those kind of cases because it could be a little tricky, but it seems as if this is a strategic move by him, advised by his attorneys. Something is behind the scenes. Maybe it's cheaper financially.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
He probably
not a stupid guy.
He probably has a better environment for the kid. That's possible too, and he just don't want to be mandated to be giving money to a stranger who had his child. Could be that too, but
she's a stranger.
I mean, you never.
Hey, it could be a one-night stand or smash and dash moment.
The way Tracy, presented it, the sperm
Oh,
spilled
right,
in her.
the sperm spilled in her. That's right.
Accidents happen. Sometimes you got to clean it up.
Hey, Michael, what would you write about if you had to do this story? What would you say?
I mean, should you get that legal when she's still lactating? I just wish it wouldn't be that.
Lactating. Damn, spilling sperm and lactating.
Goodness gracious. Okay, now moving on to Beyonce news. So on Friday, Sway, I know you were out in Las Vegas, but over here with Heather and Celebrity Wire, we were talking about Garcelle Beauvais, who we know came to rise in
Jamie Foxx.
Yes, in the Jamie Foxx show.
I remember that.
Yep, thank you. So that's where she became the object of affection for a lot of men. And even now, as she's gotten older, she's still been able to retain her beauty in older age. And she was doing an interview with Hello Beautiful, and she ended up giving some advice to Beyonce on how to stay classy as she matures. And her quote was, "I love Beyonce, I love her, but I think there has to be a fine line where you have to take responsibility for what you do. It's good to be sexy, but sexy can come across in so many different ways. It doesn't have to be everything showing out, grinding all of the time. So she needs to be careful."
Bow down, bitches.
Bow down, bitches, right. And who's going to follow? Her legion of stans, Beyonce. They came to Twitter. They were dragging Garcelle, coming at her like, "Oh, why are you talking about Bey? Remember when you were on Playboy, blah, 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 had your titties out?" Garcelle, just as I suspected, went to Twitter herself and apologized for the quotes in Hello Beautiful. She said, "I love Beyonce. What I said was taken out of context. And of course, I support women being sexy."
Right.
And here's just one quote from one of Beyonce's stans who replied directly to Garcelle. She said, "Out of context or not, you shouldn't be saying shit when your titties are all over the interwebs, you washed up bitch."
BeyHive.
Wow. Mike, what do you think of that, man? That's a little
I mean, that's cruel, but don't fuck with the BeyHive. I don't excuse that type of. Honestly, I like Garcelle Beauvais, but you've been in Playboy, and if you're gonna address somebody overusing their sexuality, you should acknowledge that first.
I'm looking at a picture of her right now in Playboy.
There you go.
This motherfucker.
And I think the whole thing about the grinding, as a Southern boy, I think Beyonce is that we're both from Houston. That's just a certain type of dancing. That's just kind of how we are. And that looks a certain way to other people. But I mean,
and Beyonce's younger. She doesn't need to be on the same level as Garcelle right now.
Beyonce's in her 30s, Tracy.
Yes,
what child?
Come on, mamas can't twerk.
Yeah, they can twerk, but don't use younger as an excuse.
But Garcelle was talking about giving Beyonce advice. And in her own life, she said, "I realized that there's different levels to sexiness, and I want to change that for myself at my age." So when she was doing
you guys are so
Playboy,
biased. Michael came in this room with a surfboard shirt on. Grinding on my surfboard. That's a Beyonce lyric. He's wearing Beyonce lyrics on his shirt.
That's true. All
right.
So I guess that's a good time to move on. All right. So Brandy. I am now learning that, last December in 2012, actually, she was engaged to a man named Ryan Press. It looked like they were set to walk down the aisle. She was probably going to have a humongous wedding, but now they have called it quits. And according to the YBF.com, this happened after they moved in together. And when you move in together, that's when you're basically playing marriage and you're going to see if this works out or not. And it appears that it's not going to work out.
So because they moved in together, they found out they were incompatible.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't think think you should go through that process. We're going to find out from our citizenship if you ever moved in with someone and found out that you guys were incompatible and what you thought would lead to your relationship being stronger ended up breaking it up. We got Sharon on the line from D.C. What up, Sharon?
Hey, Sharon.
Good morning. How's everybody?
Doing okay, Sharon. Hey, so what happened?
I mean, I was dating this guy for a year and a half, and, like, my lease was about to be up on my apartment, and he was like, well, we should just move in together. It'll save money, and plus we were going to save for a wedding. I was like, okay, that makes sense. Of course, my grandmother was against it because they old school. They think you should be married before you live together. So we moved in with each other. Everything was okay in the beginning, and then you start seeing, like, little things that aggravate you, like the toilet seat.
Yeah.
He used to trim his hair and leave the hair in the sink. I would wash the dishes. After I clean up the whole kitchen, he'll go in and cook a 3-course meal and leave everything in there like I'm supposed to be a maid. Then he would make comments like, that's what a woman's supposed to do. I said, well, I'm not a homemaker. I work 40 hours a week, you know.
So what did you do? Did you leave hair in the bathtub? Did you leave your makeup out in the
I don't wear makeup, so that was never an issue. The only thing he used to say that used to bother him about me was he said I complained. I said I only complain when I feel like I'm being taken advantage of. Like, if you're going to drop your jeans in the middle of the floor, you're a grown man, you should pick them up.
Yeah,
every time I would.
You gotta compromise when you're living with someone, right?
Yeah.
You gotta compromise.
Yeah. Did you? Well, how did y'all come to the conclusion? Did y'all just say, "Hey, man, I love you, but this isn't gonna work out"?
Well, he just started becoming like it started to elevate to becoming verbally abusive. Because at that time I was struggling with my weight. So, like, he started to become verbally abusive on that note.
What was he calling you like? What kind of names was he calling you? Like fat ass or something?
He was like he used to be like
bubble butt or
you need to go to the gym. Why you eating that cheeseburger? You fat bitch.
Damn, fat. Why you eating that? Well, how often were you eating cheeseburgers?
It was like he'd get in spurts. Like, he'll just say shit to me because he'll had a bad day, so he'll come home from work and take it out on me.
Damn, so
you know what I'm saying?
Y'all broke up over a cheeseburger.
Sway,
it wasn't just a cheeseburger, but it was like that was like the icing on the cake. You know what I'm saying? Like, I worked, came home, and
now
did
it's cake.
Now
it's icing and cake.
It's the cake, the cheeseburger.
This was doomed from the beginning, Sharon. These guys, they moved in based on financial purposes to begin with.
Yeah.
Things start getting funny. When the money starts getting funny, comments start getting thrown at each other. To me, this was doomed from the very start. A cheeseburger just added onto it.
Cheeseburger. You shouldn't have put mayo on that cheeseburger. You'd still be together. Now, I know, Michael, you're going to have a lot to say about this next story.
Oh, yes, because it has to do with Justin Bieber and his never-ending saga with starting trouble. We know what happened with his neighbor. He was throwing all of the eggs, and he moved out, and there are reports that he was looking for a new home. And it looks like he went over to Atlanta, spotted a couple mansions that he could probably, start more trouble in. However, the people of Buckhead in particular started a Facebook protest group titled Protesting Justin Bieber Moving to Buckhead. As simple as that.
Damn.
They already have over 250 people, and they're basically saying, we do not want the Biebs anywhere near our property.
You know what? And it probably discouraged him from moving there, because if you got 250 neighbors, they can't tell you where you can move or not. You got a right to move wherever you want to,
right?
But they can make it difficult.
Yeah. And they were saying, as a community here in Buckhead, we have worked hard to achieve our goals and to get where we are. Justin Bieber's relocation to Atlanta can be nothing but bad for our children as well as our community.
Would you want Justin Bieber to live in your neighborhood, Michael?
No.
No.
Why is that?
You know what? I don't mind White Mike in theory. I like his new album.
Yeah.
I get it, but it's like in twofold. Like, I feel like some people need to leave him alone.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the same time, you purposely go to places where you know people are going to see you.
Yeah.
Like, if you really want to be left alone, do you really want to go to Miami? Do you really want to go to Atlanta? Do you want to be in Los Angeles? Do you want to be in New York?
Yeah.
You're rich. Go to some island. You can fly people in. You can go to Europe. Go some parts of Asia. Go somewhere where you know people will leave you alone. Because I think as a 19-year-old, he has every right to fuck up the way the rest of us did. But at the same time, you're courting attention. You complain about the attention, and then you're going places where you know people are going to see you.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Heather?
Why don't he just go to Canada? Why does he go home?
I don't know. That's a beautiful. I love Canada.
Take it back home.
Drake still lives there.
You're listening to Sway in the morning on Shade 45.